Hello and welcome to the second deployment lecture in this course, Master in Artificial Intelligence. Now, in this lecture, we will talk about the remaining steps after model serialization in terms of how to deploy this trained model into production that can ensure the smooth integration with the existing system and also meet performance requirements. So, what are these other steps? Let's take a look at them one by one. The second thing you need to do after model serialization is to set up a model serving infrastructure or platform to host and manage the deployed model, obviously, right? And what you need to do is to choose a suitable deployment model, uh, such as cloud-based solutions, AWS, SageMaker, Google Cloud platform, Azure machine learning platform, or self-hosted solutions with the help of Docker and Kubernetes, right? So this is how you can think about setting up a model serving infrastructure and platform for hosting and managing the deployed models. Then what you need to do is obviously to create API endpoints, right? So expose the trained API model as RESTful API endpoint to enable communication between the model and other systems. And also you can implement API endpoints for model inference, allowing clients to send input data and receive predictions in return. Then you need to implement the data input pre-processing logic, because remember all your data has to be pre-processed for model to work. So you need to implement this logic in the endpoint to ensure that the input data is transformed and formatted appropriately into the model. You need to handle data validations, normalizations, scaling, and encoding as necessary at the pre-processing point in the beginning of the API endpoint to match the pre-processing steps applied during model training. Because otherwise your model will not work, right? It will get confused. Then what you need to do is optimize the deployed model's performance to meet latency and throughput requirements. Latency in terms of how much time does it take to respond, and throughput means how many users can it handle. There you need to consider techniques such as batch processing, caching, or asynchronous processing, basically to improve the response time and scalability. So optimize the model's performance. Then once you have optimized the model performance, you need to implement monitoring and logging system to track the performance, usage and health of the deployed model in real time now. And what you need to do is to monitor key metrics such as response time, throughput, error rates, resource utilization, and basically this will help you detect anomalies or performance degradations. Implement once you have this thing in place, then you need to handle the errors and make sure the system is resilient. So you need to implement robust error handling mechanisms to gracefully handle exceptions, errors, and failures during model inference. And some of the things that you can do to handle these errors with resiliently is to implement retry strategies, circuit breakers, and failover mechanisms to ensure system resilience and reliability. Now, while doing all that, you need to secure the deployed models by implementing authentication, authorization, and encryption mechanisms that can protect the sensitive data and prevent unauthorized access, and also ensure compliance with data privacy regulations like GDPR, HIPAA, and industry security standards. Uh, you need to make sure that your deployed model is integrated seamlessly with existing applications, workflows, and systems. So it needs to be well integrated with these three elements: existing system, application, and workflows. And while doing that, you need to ensure compatibility of the deployed model with data formats, protocols, and interfaces used by other systems to facilitate smooth integration. Finally, conduct thorough testing and validation of the deployed model to ensure correctness, performance, and reliability under various conditions. And to do that, what you need to do is to perform integration testing, regression testing, and load testing from time to time to validate the behavior and performance of the deployed model in a production environment. Finally, document the deployment process and API endpoints, input-output formats, and usage guidelines for developers as well as users. Provide training support to relevant stakeholders on how to interact with and use the deployed model effectively. So, having looked at, so by following these steps, you can deploy a trained model into production environment smoothly and ensure seamless integration with existing system and meet the performance requirements effectively. But it takes a lot to do that. It's easier said than done, but actual implementation can take many toll of many days and effort. So what is next? So we will now look at how to deploy a trained model into production environment. We will take an example of that. How a company that we have been talking about, how did they do the deployment of the trained model into production environment. So thank you so much for watching this second deployment lecture in this course, Master in Artificial Intelligence. I hope you continue to learn new things, continue to enjoy, and I do look forward to seeing you again in the next lecture. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer a question, and also download the PDF file to take a look at those commands that we shared with you.